All right, lesson 2.1.4 out of the book is about what makes zero. So the first couple pages of this are, again, here is our negatives. This is the thing we've looked at for the last couple of videos, different ways to make negative. I'm very specific about a couple of ways now to make zero. So zero is made when, in two different ways, you can use the same tile on opposite sides of the mat. So this makes zero because y plus negative y is equal to zero. And this makes zero because negative one plus the opposite of negative one equals zero. So if you have the same tile on the different sides of the mat, that equals zero. Another way to make a zero pair, and this is probably the most common one that we see, is if it's on the same side of the mat and they're different sides of the tiles. So a negative x and a positive x, they make zero. That's a zero pair. And if on the bottom, if I have two of the same, two tiles that are same but opposite sides, they make zero as well. So these are the two different ways to make zero. So we also practiced writing the expression on a mat. You always start with writing the tiles you see on the top of the mat. So I'm writing the expression right here. So I started with an x and then a negative x, and then negative 2 unit tiles plus 1. And then on the bottom, so I'm going to write out what I see of the opposite on the bottom. So the opposite of negative 3 is plus 3. And the opposite of x is negative x. So that's one way to write this. A second way to write it is still to write what you see on the top of the mat. That doesn't change. My x plus my negative x plus my negative 2 plus 1. Notice the blue didn't change. But another way to write it, the most common way that I usually write it, is I put the negative sign right here and then parentheses and exactly what you see on the bottom. So x plus negative 3. And when I flip that up, it's going to become this. It's going to be plus negative x and plus 3. All right, in class, we did a couple examples. They started by writing the original. So here's 2 x's plus 3 negatives. And then on the bottom, they said plus negative 1 and plus negative x. Then I had them build it and simplify it. So zero pairs, I'm going to take off this x and I'm going to take off this x. That's the only zero pair that I have. And now to simplify it, I want to flip that up. I want to get everything up there. So that is going to become a negative. So the simplified expression here would be x plus negative 4. Okay. When I go to this one, again, writing the expression, we have x plus negative x plus 1 plus negative 3. And now they wrote it with the minus sign in front, and then exactly what they see was x and 2 y's. And then I had them build it, and we did zero pairs to simplify this. So I'm going to take an x and an x off, a positive and a negative off the top, and a positive and a negative off the top of the unit tiles. Now I could leave these down here and write them. I'm just going to leave them. So I can simplify because there's no more zero pairs. So I have negative 2 on the top. And then I'm going to put minus parentheses x plus 2y. And that's simplified. You could also write that as negative 2 plus negative x plus negative 2y. Okay, and then you're going to practice that in the exit ticket. There's only one thing for you to do. I want you to practice writing the original expression. So remember, start with what you see on the top. And then when you write everything on the bottom, it's going to be the opposite. And then I want you to build it on this tile mat and simplify it by taking off zero pairs. Okay.